Pharmaceuticals are really expensive, really great, but really expensive. Pharmaceutical costs are one of the heavy hitters of healthcare costs, and along with physician and hospital services, drugs are about 10% of the overall costs in national healthcare. There's no doubt there's a great variety of drugs out there. Just watch TV for a few minutes, and there's no doubt that drugs can make an incredible difference in someone's life, possibly even save it, but they're very pricey. And the reasons for that's pretty easy to pin down. The FDA approval process is very long, very involved. It can take a decade to get a drug approved. The FDA is trying to balance the risk between prematurely approving a drug and then later finding out about terrible, possibly fatal consequences to that drug, and of course the product liability and PR nightmares for the drug company, versus delaying approval and then having someone suffer or maybe die from not getting the medicine. The FDA tends to lean towards the former and avoiding premature approval. But that process then cuts into the patent that the drug company has to market that original version of the drug. Drug companies typically get a 20-year patent on a drug, and if that patent protection starts to count down as soon as the drug company applies for the FDA approval, okay, take 10 years from that, the drug company is trying to recoup its investment in half the time. And that investment can be a lot of money, in the neighborhood of $800 million. But even if that were not the case, it really wouldn't matter, because Big Pharma can charge what it wants. In the U.S. market, which for the time being is a free market economy, it can recoup its investment. It's to other countries that the drug companies export their drugs to that have price controls, and so people in those countries pay very low prices. The U.S. government also helps that along because we've got a ban on re-importation of any of those drugs. So again, the drug companies recoup their R&D via the American wallet, and the wuss countries get low drug prices. I think we should revisit that. I think Congress should lift the re-importation ban. I don't think safety is an issue. The medical community frequently complains that if the re-importation ban were lifted, safety would be compromised. These are developed countries we're talking about. And there's no doubt in my mind that the Europeans and the Canadians and whoever else would have a cow if they were faced with higher drug prices. It's entirely possible they could start stealing patents or developing their own. But we don't know, because no one's ever forced it, because the drug companies are happy because they get their money. Everything they make from outside America is pure profit. It's pure cream. I also would like to see Congress review the way in which the FDA approves drugs. I'm not saying that it should be overhauled or transformed, but maybe it should strike a better balance between those who suffer from getting a drug and those who suffer from don't getting a drug. It's just if that happens, we all need to be aware of the consequences. More drugs, but more risk.